Saral Japani, Japanese learning made easy. Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we learn Japanese language. This is the playlist called Japanese Lessons for Beginners. Today we are at lesson 116. Friends, we have been learning grammar, vocabulary, kanji, and several other things, several other areas of Japanese language learning. And in continuation to that, today we will be learning 5 kanji characters. So if you look on the screen, you will see these 5 kanji characters which we are going to learn today. So all of these characters we have already encountered in our grammar lessons, and you already know the meaning of these. But in today's lesson, we shall look at these characters more closely and from a kanji study perspective. So that's the reason why we learn kanji characters in detail from time to time, and we have already covered 100 kanji characters. Today it's from 101 to 105. So let's begin today's lesson, Japanese lesson 116, kanji 101 to 105, and these are the 5 characters which we are going to learn today. The first one is this character, which is very common, and you have used this many a times, which represents going, journey, or to carry out something. And very commonly iku or ikimas, in this verb you have used this character. So what are the readings? In kunyomi it is e, the reading is e, and it is added with ku to make it iku, which is the verb which means to go. Then the other reading is yuku or iki. Again the same thing, ikimasu. The onyomi readings include ko, gyo, and an, as you can see here. Now let's take a look at the usages or the different words that can be formed using this. The first word is iku, which is the most common one, which means to go. That is, iku is the stem verb for to go somewhere. To move forward towards something, to leave for, to travel across, to walk along, for example, a road, to go well, badly, etc., to proceed, to do in a particular way, to go with a choice, to try, to pass, of time, seasons, etc., to pass away, to reach, to a stage, extent, age, etc., to reach of information, instructions, wind, etc. That means everything that gives the meaning of going somewhere. So it can be some kind of hidden meaning or directly going somewhere. Now, friends, it can also be used to mean to arrive, to continue, and there are several dark meanings as well, friends. So dark in the sense for some slang language also this character is used. So the intention of this lesson is not to give you details of that, but again at the same time it is very important to understand the curse words in Japanese, because not because you have to use them in the language, you should never do that, you must not do that. So you should be very formal and polite in the language, but it is also important to know about the curse words, the abusive words, the slang words, so that if someone uses them in front of you, you can quickly detect that and take action accordingly. Otherwise there will be a risk that you do not have any idea of those, and accidentally by mistake you use those in the language, and that can lead you to a very false position. So very important to understand these slang things, but never use them. So for example, as you can see here, this symbol can also be used to mean to have an orgasm, to come, that is to discharge the semen at the height of an intercourse. And in that case, the word is ichao. Ichao means when you say I am now going to ejaculate, that kind of meaning. Also it is used to represent to get high, to have a drug induced hallucination. That means when someone is taking drugs and it is he or she is going very high and is he or she is reaching the climax of the addiction. So for that also this character is means. So everything here means to go somewhere, to reach somewhere. So you should understand. So far we knew that this is used only to represent the verb iku, going, but now you know that there are so many meanings that can be possible. Then we have yukusaki. Yukusaki means destination, whereabouts, future or prospects. Then we have okonau, which means to perform, to do, to conduct oneself or to carry out something. So these are few examples of kunyomi reading for this character. Now in the onyomi reading we have ko, which means again going, traveling, journey, trip, act or action. Bank, counter for bank. So this can also be used as a counter for banks. Counter for groups or parties of people. Type of classical Chinese verse, usually an epic from the Tang period onwards. Shopping district of similar merchants in the Sui and Tang periods. Merchants Guild in the Tang period. So this is all from the Chinese point of view. Then we have Seiko. Seiko means character and conduct. Then we have Geo, which means line of text or row, verse, karya, austerities, sanskar, as we call in Sanskrit, sanskar, that is culture or formations. Then semi-cursive style of writing Chinese characters or the running style. So that also this character may mean when the reading is geo. And finally we have anka. Anka means bed warmer or foot warmer. As you can see here, the first character is for this going and the second character is that of fire, which is ka. So anka, which means a bed warmer or a foot warmer. So these are several usages or words formed using this character. Now, what is the radical here? So here there is no other radical. This symbol itself is a radical. Now let's look at the stroke order. This is the first stroke. This is the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke. This is the fourth stroke. This is the fifth stroke, and this is the sixth stroke. Sorry, this is the sixth stroke. So in this way, in 6 strokes, this character will be written. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you should keep a watch at the length of this. So if you can see here, this is some length and this is of a longer length. So now another important thing, from where did this symbol originate? So this symbol, this is the modern symbol. As you can see, earlier it was like this. So this shows a street intersection. So as you can see here, this is one road, this is another road, this is the another third road, and this is the fourth road. So this is basically the intersection of 4 roads, and this signifies a journey, that is going somewhere. And from this, the modern character has been evolved. So these are the old or ancient uh, forms of these same character, which were inscriptions on bronze or some other metal or on the bone script as well. So this is all about this symbol, going or journey. Next is this symbol, another very commonly used kanji, and this also we have come across in our lesson on adjectives. So this means high, tall, or even it can mean expensive. So takai, if you remember, takai was the adjective that we used for this signal, for this symbol. So the kunyomi reading is takai, taka, daka, and the Before we go into the onyomi readings, let's take a look at some of the words using this kanji. First one is the most common one, takai, which means high, tall, expensive, or highly priced, above average in degree, quality, etc., loud, high pitched, or shrill. That means anything extreme. That is takai. Takai takai means lifting a child high up in the air. So this is in the playful attitude. Taka. Taka means quantity, amount, volume, number, or amount of money. Itaka means arrogant, haughty, or self-important. Then we have Seitaka, which means tallness or a tall person. We have Takamaru. Takamaru means to rise, to swell, to be promoted. Takamaru. And then finally we have Takameru, which means to raise, to lift, to boost, or to enhance. So there is difference between Takamaru and Takameru. So you should take a note of these meanings and you will understand. One maru means to rise. That means by self. So it rises by itself. To swell. That means it swells by itself. To be promoted. But when we write meru in place of maru, then that means to raise, to lift, to boost. That means someone is doing that. It's not happening on its own. So this is the difference between maru and meru. Then let's come to the onyomi. So again, onyomi, uh, interestingly, this also has the same reading as the previous one. Ko. Ko is the reading. Ko, which means high, or it can also mean high school. Then we have koatsu. This is koatsu, which means high voltage or high pressure. Then we have chuko. Chuko, which means middle and high school. That is medium and high level. And then we have gekko. Gekko means excitement or exasperation, that is intense irritation, indignation, rage, or fury. That means the outcome of anger. So the these are the meanings of all these applications of this kanji character in onyomi. Again, this is a radical in itself. There is no other radical involved. Let's look at the stroke order now. So obviously this is the first stroke, the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke up to here, the fifth stroke, the sixth stroke, the seventh stroke is complete, the eighth stroke, the ninth stroke, and the 10th stroke. So in 10 strokes, this will be prepared. So it looks a difficult character, but actually it's not. If you understand the stroke order, then it is not at all difficult to write the character. So now onwards, when you come across this word takai, don't use hiragana, just try to write in kanji. So in that way, you will be gradually incorporating several kanji characters in your writing. Now, this is very simple. This is how this character came into being. As you can see here, this is the ancient symbol, which clearly indicates a tall building. So this is the pedestal. So the tall building is standing here. And from this, the modern character has been deduced. So this also represents a tall building, and hence this symbol is used to represent something tall, high, and expensive as well, because expensive is also equivalent to high. So high price. Next, we come to our third kanji character for today, another very, very commonly used and popular, which is electricity. Interestingly, there is no kunyomi reading. That means there is no Japanese version of reading for this character. This is purely Chinese character. So we only have the onyomi reading, and the reading is den. You already know denki, denka, isn't it? So let's look at some words. Denka means electrification. Then we have denatsu, denatsu, which means voltage. Then we have soden. So then, which means transmission of electricity, electricity supply or power supply. And we have Haiden. Haiden means distribution of electricity. So anything related to electricity, you will come across this symbol. So even on these streets and public places, if they want to indicate something related to electricity, you will find this symbol. This symbol again looks very complicated, but it is very easy. So as you can see here, there are two parts. This part comes from the kanji of rain, you might remember, and this kanji is basically the kanji of lightning. So rain plus lightning. So the radical involved here is that of rain. So let us look at the stroke order for this character. The first stroke, the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So this completes the upper portion of this character. Then the lower portion, this is the ninth stroke. This is the 10th stroke up till here, 11th stroke, 12th stroke, and finally the 13th stroke. So there are 13 strokes, so that would indicate it's a very complicated character, but actually it's not all straight lines. And if you understand how this kanji character has been made, it's very easy to draw, although you will need some kind of practice. Yeah, that is for sure. But if you understand how this is formed, then it is very easy to draw. So we will now see how this kanji has arrived. So this is the ancient inscription, another ancient version, and from this the modern version has been developed. And as you can see here, there is rain here and there is the lightning here. So rain is the semantic portion, that means the meaning portion, and this portion is the phonetic portion. So as you know, in most of the kanjis there are two parts. One is the semantic portion and other is the phonetic portion. So most of the kanji characters are formed like that. But here you can also see this symbol as two things. One is rain, the other is lightning, because this character represents lightning. So since this is related to electricity, so the presence of lightning and rain, they complement this concept of electricity. So this is well aligned with what this overall kanji means or conveys. So this is electricity then. The fourth character of today's lesson is another very commonly used. You have already used this, taberu, tabemas. Yes, this is to eat or food. So this is the kanji character which represents eating or food or to consume something. The kunyomi readings are ku, kurau, taberu, hamu, and these are the some of the applications. So first one is the ku. Ku means to eat, to live, to make a living, to survive, to bite, to sting as insects do, to tease, to torment, to taunt, to make light of, to make fun of, to encroach on, to eat into, to consume, to defeat a superior, to threaten a position, to receive something, usually an unfavorable event. And again, just like the first one, I would say it is also used to represent some vulgar actions, that is to have sexual relations with a woman, especially for the first time. So now how this slang has come. So consuming or eating. So here the meaning has been extended to consume a woman, which is very objectionable, but somehow in the slang or the abusive world of Japanese, they have incorporated this symbol to represent that as well. So again, you have to be very careful when using this. It could mean something else, and without your without you understanding that, you could use that inappropriately, and that could lead to some problem. So that's the purpose of mentioning it here, that be careful while writing using kanji characters. The if the meaning is not properly conveyed, it can mean something else. So this is the thing. Then we have ku yaku. This is waza. So ku yaku waza, which means living from hand to mouth, living on the fringe of subsistence. That means just making it happen. So on the very, very marginal level. Then kurao means to eat, to drink, to wolf, to knock back, to receive, for example, a blow, to be on the receiving end of something undesirable, to undergo a trouble. Taberu, probably the most common usage of this word, which means to eat or to consume, which we have discussed several times while using the verb taberu or tabemas. Hamu is again to eat fodder, grass, etc. That means by the cattle. To receive a salary, to receive a stipend from one's lord is also hamu. Let's look at the onyomi readings. Shoku. This is again very, very commonly used. We have already used shokudo, which means cafe or dining hall. And jiki is another reading. Shoku means food or foodstuff, eating, appetite, meal, portion. It could also mean eclipse of sun or the moon, that is solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, that is occultation. Then we have hoshoku. This is hoshoku, which means eating until one is full, eating one's fill, gorging on, having adequate food, having all one needs for daily living, plenty. That means there is surplus or prosperity. Then we have kaishoku. Kaishoku means eating together, dining together, or having a meal together. Shokudo, as we just saw, dining hall or at a, especially at a temple. Then we have danjiki. Danjiki means fasting or keeping a fast. And finally, we have saijiki, which means a morning meal for priests, monks, etc. That is food offered at a Buddhist ceremony. Again, this is a radical in itself, and the stroke order will be like this. This is the first stroke, the second stroke, the third stroke, the fourth stroke. So this you should be very careful. This is not the fourth stroke. Fourth stroke is this, fifth stroke, sixth stroke, and then comes this seventh stroke, which is a complete stroke like this. So you have to just bring this down vertically, move it here, and then do it like this. So this is a single stroke. You should not take the pen up on of the page. Then the eighth stroke like this, and finally the ninth stroke. So in 9 strokes, this taberu or tabe, basically ta, this kanji will be drawn. Now, how did this kanji evolve? So this is the ancient one. So what does this represent? So you can see from this it has evolved like this. But what does this represent? This basically represents a mouth. So this is the mouth, or this is the open mouth over a bowl of rice on a stand. So this is the bowl of rice and this is the stand. And if you see here, this kanji character, it represents a bowl of rice on a stand. This is from the Chinese kanji characters. So this is the mouth, this portion, and this is the bowl of rice on a stand, this portion. So in the modern form also, this is the mouth portion and this is the bowl of rice on a stand. So this is how this symbol has evolved over the ages. Finally, we have today's last kanji, which represents a pedestal, a stand, or it is also used for counter for machines and vehicles, which we have already done in our grammar lesson. One of the grammar lessons we have done counter for machines and vehicles. You might remember dai or tai we had used as counter for machines and vehicles. The kunyomi readings include utena, ware, or tsukasa, and the onyomi reading is dai and tai, which we have already done, as I just said. So Utena means tower or a stand or a pedestal or a calyx. The onyomi reading is more important. Dai, which means a stand, a rest, base, pedestal, platform, table, holder, support, rack, setting of a gem, mounting, stock in grafting, counter for machines and vehicles, level, for example, price level, mark, range, decade of one's life, tall building with a fine view, observation platform, plateau, heights. So any of these meanings can be conveyed using this character along with some other kanji or some other hiragana characters. So in combination of with other characters, several meanings can be conveyed. So this is daisha. Daisha. So as you very well know, this is a cart. This is the kanji of a cart or a vehicle, which is sha in Onyumi reading. So Daisha, which means a platform truck, a hand truck, trolley, dolly, cart, truck, or boggy. Interestingly, Tai is used to represent the country Taiwan as well. So if you recall, then China, Singapore, Korea, each of these have a single kanji character to represent them. So likewise, Taiwan is represented using this character and the reading is Tai. The radical is the mouth radical. So this is, you know very well, this is the mouth radical. So this is involved here. And this portion is the mu. As you know, when we write watashi, we use this in our watashi as well, which means I, or even this, the meaning, actual meaning is private. The meaning of this kanji is private. So as you can see here, these are the uh, ancient versions, Oracle bone script. So this is a pedestal, and on the pedestal someone is standing or sitting. This is in the bronze script, again the same pedestal and something is kept over the pedestal. In the seal script also same thing, this is the pedestal. And in the modern form, this pedestal has evolved like this, but coincidentally these mean, this one means the mouth and this one means private. So although this character has nothing to do with private or mouth, but still these are used to represent this pedestal. In small seal script, this character was written with a clear high place imagery, as we can see here. Over time, its components were stylized into something that looks like mouth and private, as we saw just now. So this is the modern one, but originally it wasn't meant to be mouth and private. So the meaning is not mouth and private, but it's the overall meaning it gives is that of a pedestal. And this is why this character is considered a pictograph turned into a phonosemantic borrowing. So it's not the complete, this complete thing doesn't indicate anything if we talk about meaning. So it is a phonosemantic borrowing from the ancient characters, and in that way this is used to represent a pedestal, a stand, or for a counter for machines and vehicles from the phonetic point of view, that is dai or tai. So friends, that's it for today. We learned five kanji characters, although we had encountered those five kanji characters in our earlier grammatical lessons. But today we looked at each of these five characters from kanji study point of view, and hence in little bit more of details. So I hope this lesson has been useful to you. I shall be back with the next lesson very soon, the lesson 117. So you should keep revising the old lessons whenever you get time, so that you don't forget the concepts, because otherwise the all these things that we have done so far you will keep forgetting. So please do that, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel Saral Japani, please do so. My channel URL is youtube.com/@Saral Japani. So till we meet again, arigato gozaimasu, matai masho.